2 to 4 times normal rainfall, baseball-size hail, and a setup that hasn't stopped since mid-March. Buckle up, folks. A retired bus driver in Minneapolis wants to know, should she move her car off the street before Monday? The answer is yes, and here is why Monday has every meteorologist I know genuinely losing sleep right now. Drop your city in the comments right now. Tell me where you are, and I will give you the specific forecast you actually need. Whether you are in Wichita, Kansas City, Des Moines, or Minneapolis, your city matters, and I want to call it out by name. Hang around to the end because I have genuinely good news for California and the drought-stricken West buried inside this same pattern. All right, let's get into it. 3 separate storm systems are lining up back-to-back across the Pacific right now. The Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific Ocean, and Arctic air from Canada are all feeding into this pattern at the same time. When those 3 ingredients overlap like this, the result is what forecasters call a hyperactive severe weather pattern, and we have it. Out of the next 15 days in the model run, I counted 12 or 13 with active severe weather potential, no real break. Good Lord. 12 or 13 days out of 15, that is the kind of number that makes you put the coffee down. This is shaping up to be one of the most active April patterns we have seen since the historically brutal spring of 2011. Today, Thursday, April 9th, we already have a marginal risk across western Kansas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, and the Texas Panhandle. Wichita is at 62 degrees if you live there. I want you to think about Mary, a retired teacher I know in town. Mary told me she always waits until she sees rotation before she heads to her basement, y'all. That is waiting too long. Thursday's main threats are damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and hail. The tornado risk is low, but not zero. Kansas City is at 72 degrees today, warm, humid, and sitting right at the edge of Thursday's marginal risk zone. Oklahoma City is at 77 degrees with 12 miles per hour southerly winds. That Gulf moisture is already flowing northward across the Central Plains. Heavy rain is also the big story Thursday through Friday, over 2 inches possible from Kansas City up through Des Moines and Chicago. Chicago is at 70 degrees today, that corridor through Milwaukee, Des Moines, and Grand Rapids is watching for localized flooding risk. Indianapolis is at 68 degrees. Rivers across Indiana and Ohio are already running high after earlier rounds of heavy April rain. Turn around. Don't drown if you are anywhere near a swollen creek or river this week. Burn that phrase into your brain. Now, Friday, April 10th looks like the last relatively quiet day, but a marginal risk still covers southern Kansas through northwest Arkansas. Friday's threats are damaging winds and hail near Joplin, Fayetteville, and Springfield. Keep your radar apps open because upgrades are possible. Here is something worth thinking about. Friday is the day the atmospheric pattern truly flips from westerly to southwesterly flow. That flip is the fuel switch being turned on, and once southwesterly flow takes over, the severe weather engine starts revving hard. Now, Saturday, April 11th is when this thing really gets going. Slight risk already posted for West Texas and western Oklahoma. Saturday's bullseye is Amarillo to Lubbock to Midland. That dry line is going to fire supercells late afternoon into the evening. Here is what stops me cold about Saturday. Baseball-size hail is literally on the table, not just a figure of speech. Good grief. Baseball-size hail that is about 2.5 inches in diameter, flat out capable of destroying vehicles and rooftops. I think of a farmer outside Lubbock, his whole wheat crop could be gone in 30 minutes if he catches the wrong cell. Saturday's tornado threat starts low, but this is real supercell territory. The threat transitions to damaging winds as storms cluster overnight. Do yourself a solid if you are in the Texas Panhandle or western Oklahoma Saturday. Get your shelter plan locked in before noon. Now, Sunday, April 12th, the threat shifts east and gets significantly more organized and more dangerous than Saturday. Sunday's slight risk covers Wichita, Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, Childress, Dallas-Fort Worth, and San Angelo, a major footprint. Tulsa is at 76 degrees today, sitting right in the zone where Sunday's squall line will be pushing through with the most intensity. Sunday is more significant than Saturday because the moisture is deeper, the wind shear is stronger, and the storm mode is more dangerous. Sunday's squall line could produce embedded tornadoes brief, fast-moving, and incredibly hard to warn for with enough lead time. Dallas is at 75 degrees today. The DFW Metroplex is directly in the path of Sunday's organized severe weather push into North Texas. Here is the part that genuinely worries me about Sunday. The low-level jet keeps these storms cranking hard well after midnight. Picture a retired couple in Oklahoma City heading to bed Sunday night. That is exactly when the worst storms could be rolling through. Make sure weather alerts are live on every single phone in your household before Saturday. This is not the week to ignore that. If you are in a mobile home from West Texas through Central Oklahoma, have your shelter plan locked in before Saturday afternoon. A mobile home gives you zero protection from a violent supercell. Know your nearest solid building and be ready to move there fast. Now, here is the part that has every serious forecaster genuinely fired up Monday, April 13th. Monday could have tornado warnings going off in Minnesota at the exact same time as tornado warnings firing in Texas simultaneously. That is not an exaggeration. That is what meteorologists call a bimodal setup. Two completely separate severe weather corridors at once. The northern corridor fires near Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and northern Illinois enhance tornado potential near that triple point low. The southern corridor fires right along the I-35 corridor through East Texas and the Arklatex, both going at the same time. Monday's footprint runs from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, all the way down to Dallas-Fort Worth. That is an enormous multi-state corridor. Here's the number. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan could see 1,000 to 2,000 joules of instability on Monday in mid-April. Even in the UP of Michigan, that is serious storm energy, the kind that produces strong tornadoes, not just a little hail. Monday is the day where moisture, instability, and wind shear all overlap at maximum strength. That is the tornado outbreak recipe. Minneapolis is at 62 degrees today, and by Monday, that same city could be sitting under an active tornado watch. I want y'all to drop your city in the comments right now. Minneapolis, Des Moines, Kansas City, Wichita, where are you? Straight Talk Monday is the day I would least want to be driving across Iowa or northern Illinois without a solid shelter plan. Kansas City, you are dead center in Monday's most intense corridor. And that 72-degree warmth today is part of the fuel. Des Moines is at a comfortable 68 degrees right now, but Monday has Des Moines written all over it, plain and simple. St. Louis is at 71 degrees today, positioned on the eastern fringe where Monday's storms could push severe weather well into the Ohio Valley. Columbus, Ohio is at 65 degrees on the outer fringe where Monday's and Tuesday's systems could push organized severe weather eastward. Now Tuesday, April 14th, another threat develops from Dallas-Fort Worth all the way up to St. Louis with all hazards on the table. Tuesday's slight risk covers northeastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, Branson, Shreveport, and Tulsa. Memphis is at 72 degrees today. The Mid-South corridor from Memphis through Little Rock is directly in Tuesday's threat zone. Little Rock is at 68 degrees right now if you are in Arkansas. Tuesday is your day to have everything ready to go. Here's a wild card with Tuesday. How much energy Monday's storms leave behind directly affects what Tuesday can produce. If Monday delivers a big overnight round, Tuesday's morning cloud cover could suppress the afternoon heating needed for full instability. But regardless, somewhere in the central U.S. will have a significant severe weather day on Tuesday. That part is not in question. By Wednesday, April 15th, another low near Minnesota drives yet another severe weather day across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama could see organized severe weather midweek. Nashville needs to be watching this carefully. The models show a second western-based outbreak firing around April 19th and 20th. The same setup reloads and goes again. A third major low follows around April 22nd and 23rd. The GFS actually shows that one becoming even stronger than this week's system. Plain and simple 12 or 13 severe weather days out of 15. No real break anywhere in the model run. Here is the part that genuinely blew me away when I first saw the rainfall numbers, and I want you to hear this. 2 to 4 times above normal precipitation for the plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes over the next 2 weeks. Think about that number. That is not a little above average. That is the difference between a normal April and a historic April for rainfall totals. Think about it. If your area normally gets 1.5 inches in 2 weeks, you could see 4 to 6 inches. Rivers across Indiana, Ohio, and Wisconsin are already running high, and more rain stacked on top of that is a serious problem. I think of a grandmother I know outside Des Moines. Her basement flooded in early April, and she thought the worst was behind her. Not even close, and that story is true for a lot of folks across the Midwest and Ohio Valley right now. Milwaukee is at 62 degrees today. The Great Lakes region needs to be thinking about flash flooding right alongside severe weather this week. Cincinnati is at 66 degrees. The Ohio River Basin is already sensitive, and every new storm system pushes the flooding risk higher. Louisville is at 68 degrees today, sitting upstream from Cincinnati and facing the exact same compounding flooding threat through late April. Omaha is at 68 degrees today. The Missouri River corridor is already primed, and more rain this week will only make things worse. Drop your city in the comments and tell me, are you watching the flooding situation, the tornado threat, or honestly both at once? Now, here is the part of this forecast that is genuinely heartbreaking for millions of people across the Southeast. While the plains and Midwest get 2 to 4 times normal rainfall, the Southeast is forecast to get almost nothing, zero. Zip. Atlanta is at 72 degrees and bone dry today, Georgia. The Carolinas and Alabama are watching a drought with no real end in sight. The part that gets me every time the same ridge-blocking southeast rain is directly fueling these storm setups out west. Same atmospheric setup doing both things at once. Nature does not play fair. And the southeast is getting the short end right now. Phoenix is at 85 degrees today with zero precipitation. Chance drought conditions are already at serious levels heading into spring. Las Vegas is at 82 degrees with ongoing severe drought. The dry west and the flooding Midwest could not be more different right now. Now, here is the good news I promised you. California and the Sierra Nevada are finally getting some desperately needed moisture this week. Multiple Pacific systems are moving onshore through California and Nevada, bringing real precipitation to areas that have been bone dry. The West Coast has been waiting a long time. These systems will make a genuine dent in the water deficit out there. Now, let's talk about temperatures, because the warmth building ahead of Sunday and Monday is something else entirely. Denver is at 68 degrees today. Colorado will see rounds of high elevation snow as every one of these systems marches through. Nashville is at a pleasant 72 degrees right now, but midweek next week, the Tennessee Valley needs eyes wide open. No question. If you have friends or family anywhere from Amarillo to Minneapolis, do them a favor and share this forecast with them today. San Antonio is at 80 degrees today. This weekend, temperatures push toward near-record warmth ahead of that incoming cold front. Houston is at 78 degrees today. The Gulf moisture, that warm air is lifting northward, is the fuel that powers Monday's severe weather engine. The warm sector ahead of Monday's trough will push temperatures into the 70s, 80s, and even 90s across much of the South. After that, cold front sweeps through mid-next week. Temperatures crash back hard. That whiplash is textbook for a volatile late April. Good Lord, we could go from 90-degree heat to frost warnings in the northern states within the span of a single week. That is not hyperbole. Late April. Frost risk is real for northern Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin after one of these cold fronts drops through. Now, here is your honest confidence read on this whole stretch, and I want to be straight with you here. Not hype it up. Thursday and Friday are high confidence. The Storm Prediction Center is committed, and those outlooks are not changing much now. Saturday is well established too, though whether we get enhanced risk upgrades inside that slight risk depends on the next 24 hours. Sunday and Monday are high confidence on the broad threat, but the exact dry line position still needs another day of model runs. What I can tell you flat out, the GFS and the European model are in rare agreement on a historically active multi-week pattern. When both major models agree this strongly, no forecaster takes that lightly, and neither should you or anyone in your household. Here is what I need you to do before this weekend, and I mean before Friday night, not Saturday morning. Know your shelter spot, lowest floor, interior room, no windows, and make sure everyone in your home knows exactly where that is. Have your phone fully charged before you go to bed each night this week in a pattern this active. Warnings drop at odd hours. No excuses this week. You have the warning ahead of time. You have the information, and you have every reason to get ready today. Check on your elderly neighbors before this weekend in a prolonged stretch like this. Isolated folks need someone checking in. If you live near any river, creek, or flood-prone street, know your route to higher ground before the rain starts this week. The Storm Prediction Center will be upgrading these outlooks rapidly. What is a slight risk today could be enhanced by Saturday morning. That jump from slight to enhanced is a big deal. It means forecasters are now seeing a more dangerous and organized storm environment. Come back every single day this week as we get within 48 hours. Specific towns across the threat zone start getting named. The plains have not seen a pattern this relentless since 2011 and back then. A lot of communities were caught genuinely off guard. That is exactly why I want you to leave your city in the comments. I will track it for you all week. This is not a one-and-done event. This is a multi-week pattern that is not letting up, and staying plugged in is what matters. The atmosphere right now is what forecasters describe as a loaded gun pointed at the central United States, and the trigger pulls Saturday. Do not let the quiet stretches between rounds fool you. Each new system reloads faster than the last in a pattern like this one. 2 to 4 times normal rainfall. Baseball-size hail Saturday. Tornado warnings in Minnesota and Texas on the same Monday. This is the real deal. Stay alert. Stay ready. And if you have not dropped your city in the comments yet, do it right now. Stay safe out there. Folks, we will be right here every single day tracking this historic and relentless pattern for you.